Can everybody hear me? Awesome, thank you. I want to tell you a little bit about the problem we're trying to solve at Hypothesis and lead you through some of the decisions that we made about how we're structured and why. So we're trying to, articles are in the traditional form kind of die as soon as they're published. They become frozen in time, the only way that we evolve thinking on top of articles is by publishing a new article and citing the previous scholarship. What's possible is to be able to discover the layers of thinking on top of scholarship continuously into the future. And so this is the current solution that we have for comments online. It's proprietary. It's the kind of, you tend to find it down at the bottom of the page. It doesn't work on things like PDFs. It's usually closed source and proprietary, and the one system that's implemented in one place is not interoperable with another system in another place. So it's really lends itself to poor quality conversations. And another big problem is that all conversations are folded into the same space. You can only have one conversation, you can't tease apart different communities for different purposes and so forth. It's only in place where it's put purposely by the publishers. It's not on pages or PDFs where it's not embedded. And so most of the web and most scholarship is silent to thinking. What's coming is a new paradigm of annotations. We know annotations have been around for a long time, but the thing that's great about them is that they're in context. They're precise, and they lend themselves to a very different kind of discussion than comments do. There are solutions now that let you annotate things, but most of those require you to upload your content into a space, usually some kind of a proprietary system, where the comments that are happening in one place are different than the comments that are happening in another place. In a sense, you're forking the content in order to have a conversation on top of it. So what's possible, what's coming to the web are layers of annotation that lay over the thing wherever the thing is without it moving and without the publisher having to embed anything on it, even though sometimes when publishers do, they can get additional benefits. Those layers of annotation can also, the PowerPoint didn't convert very well, but can also come from different servers. So it's not that there's a monolithic service provider that delivers these layers of annotations. It's that, like the web, these annotated layers can come from anybody who wants to host an annotation server, including publishers. There you can see that's a little bit better. So this architecture is now embedded in a new standard that the W3C just published in February this year after about 3 years worth of work. So what's important about this is that the data model and the architecture for how different organizations, different service providers, different pieces of software implement annotations can coalesce around a shared meaning of what an annotation is and how this all works. Another really important part about the standards process is that this kind of capability can now start coming natively to browsers, so that your browser will come with the ability to sign into some standards-based annotation service and bring those annotations to the page wherever you are, including multiple annotation services simultaneously. Or if you're in a company and you want to run an annotation server behind your firewall that only people in the company have access to, that can just simply be a layer over the same page and interoperate with the other layers that are going on. It should work not just on text, but on any of the formats of the web, and the standard now supports this. So our organization is a nonprofit. We build open source software. It's not that we're that this is an ideological thing for us. It's just that this was when we thought about what would it take to bring this capability to all scholarship in a way that would be widely adopted. There were some very clear things that came out of interviews and research that we did. Number one, it had to be open source. Number two, it had to be based on standards. And number three, for our effort to have the best chance of success, we had to be a nonprofit so that we could align long-term with the interests of users and partners. Our goal is to build shared neutral infrastructure, best-of-breed open source software solutions to implement this capability, to be a neutral party, an honest broker, so that we can not only bring the capability forward, but also incorporate community contributions to the open source base on the behalf of everybody, and to be an organization whose very mission and bylaws and so forth are aligned with long-term interests of users. What should that mean in practical terms? Better functionality, a more rapid evolution of the product and feature set, lower cost, quicker time to implement, true interoperability, integration with other industry infrastructure, the ORCIDs, Crossref, educational systems like Canvas, and so forth. Here's a few questions that you might ask, not just if you're shopping for an annotation solution, but if you're really shopping for any kind of software these days. And there are solutions obviously that are not open source, and I don't take a perspective in terms of whether one's better or worse, but questions that you might ask are, is it open source? Is there a standard that this particular platform is built around? Could you run it yourself on your own hardware if you wanted to? And is it permissively licensed? Would you have to pay royalties, or is it an MIT or a BSD license? Is there an organization that might be sold potentially to a competitor? Does it work broadly across in the different contexts that you need it to work? Is it constrained to a single platform, or can it work more broadly on the web, and so forth? So I'll just leave it there.
Thanks, Dave.